Awesome. Okay, we'll just get started with our small group, and this is great. So because it's a smaller group, I will probably ask for like your feedback or questions or anything like that too, because I think that's super helpful. So we're Junior Achievement, and our presentation today is on building connection through financial readiness by utilizing experiential learning and a lot of the programs that Junior Achievement has. So you can go to the next slide. So first, are either of you familiar with Junior Achievement? Have you done it in your classroom before or as a student?
I'm a Cypress grade. And so
I love
we
it.
have our managers come and do it.
Yes. Oh, wonderful. And I think Cypress has actually been doing JA for years and years and years. So I'm glad to hear.
Just a fun part.
Excellent. And then are you in the classroom?
No, I'm the CTE specialist in Canyons, and we do a lot with juniors.
Wonderful. Okay, so this will be good because I feel like we can kind of dive into some of our resources a little bit more. We don't always get a chance to do that with teachers because we offer so many programs and so many resources. Sometimes it's a little more surface level. So this is really great because this will help you hopefully utilize as you're communicating with teachers and kind of putting that out there, what options they have and how they can kind of utilize some of these tools. And then as a partner or, whether that's volunteering, some of our corporate partners are sponsors, however you all like to volunteer or partner, that would be helpful as well. So I won't give a huge intro of JA, but we are a nonprofit organization focusing on financial literacy, entrepreneurship, and career readiness. So our goal really is just to inspire students to be successful, to feel like they have the tools that they need as they go forward in life to understand how to achieve the goals that they set and to feel comfortable and confident when they move from high school out into the real world. So one of the really important things for JA is that we want to support teachers. We want them to know that they're not in this alone. We know that we came out of a really few hard years with COVID and that that's not over, that our teachers are continuing to experience all sorts of residual effects because of that. So we want teachers and schools to be aware of the fact that JA is here to support, that we have loads of volunteers and other resources that we want to bring into the classroom and that can help as they're making connections in the community with those students. We really do feel like it's the responsibility of us and of the community to kind of help lift the burden of teachers and to offer those supports to them. So why experiential learning? A lot of people are familiar or have heard of the term, and I'm gonna grab my notes here too. I don't even think I had those, but experiential learning is just that process for students to learn something and then apply that in a hands-on way. So we know that kids are being talked at all day long. They are at home with parents, they're at schools with teachers, they see and they hear things all day long, and oftentimes that goes in one ear and out the other. But we know that when they do something, that becomes a much more concrete way for them to comprehend those concepts and to implement those in their lives. So at Junior Achievement, we really believe that children learn by doing. And if we're able to provide those experiences through our programs, whether that's on site at a facility, whether that's having a speaker or a teacher come into the classroom, or whether that's providing curriculum to teachers that their students can then implement in a concrete way, we really feel like that's the best way that they will learn and then be able to apply in a practical way those concepts that they interact with. Okay, so we have a quick video, and one of the reasons I like this is it just shows how students think about the future, some of the concerns and the worries that they have, and how we at Junior Achievement are trying to help with those things in the future.
Please welcome tonight's presentation of What I Want to Do
When I Grow Up.
When I grow up,
I don't want to live paycheck to paycheck.
I don't want to cry when paying the bills.
when I grow up,
I don't want to be turned down for a business loan.
I don't want to borrow a lot for an education.
and then not know what to do with it.
When I grow up, I don't want to be paid less.
Told I'm underqualified.
or overqualified.
When I grow up,
When I grow up,
I want to know how to save for my future.
Find a job I like.
and start my own business.
When I grow up,
I want to know how to provide for my family.
And invest in my community and make a difference.
When I grow up,
When I grow up,
When I grow up,
when I grow up, I just want things to be different.
At Junior Achievement, we promote economic empowerment through education, but we can't do it alone.
So some of the things we sometimes hear about with financial literacy is it's this one-off piece that doesn't always get the priority that it needs. You can move on to the next slide if you can see it. And we feel like financial lit is one of the most important subjects that students can be learning in schools because it applies to every single area of their life. It doesn't matter if they work for somebody else, if they own their own business, if they do a trade, if they go to college, financial literacy will be applicable no matter where they are in life. And we really want to make sure that the experiences that we provide can help give them the confidence that they need to then go forward and make some of those choices that will enable them to be more successful. So one of the things that we like to do is highlight different people that come out and volunteer with us or that really make a difference in a tangible way with our students. So this is an example of, she's actually a board member, Kim Hannay. She's with Optum Bank, and she visited JA City, which is our capstone facility that Becky will talk a little bit more about, on a day that we were doing JA Finance Park, which is a program that we have for middle and high school students. And this particular day, we had a school where they had some refugee students. One of our students was there on his very first school day ever. So not only was it their first day in school, but he was going on a field trip at the same time. And the whole experience began as kind of a confusing thing for him. So Kim went out of her way to both mentor the student to stay with him all day, but then to also find another student who spoke Swahili who could help with that language barrier that we know that all schools are facing at this point. And then she spent the day with them. She walked around with them. She made sure that he felt comfortable and turned what could have been kind of a meh experience or even a negative thing with being really confusing and anxious into a wonderful, successful day for him. And we just think that that's the power of having volunteers in the classroom and at our capstone facilities, that students are connecting with people other than their parents, other than their teachers, and making an impactful difference. So we have, again, so many different programs and resources at JA, but there's two that we wanted to focus on for middle school. Becky Vanderlinden is here. She is the director of our capstone facilities, and Emily Watkins, who is over all of our middle and high school in-class programs. I'm Brittany Palmer. I don't think I introduced myself at the beginning. I'm our VP of Education, so I get to work with both Emily and Becky daily. So they're going to be talking about our JA Finance Park program and our JA Connect Learning Pathways site and how those can be implemented for middle school students. And we'll attempt to switch this over without causing too much static here. Sounds good.
Thanks, Brittany. All right, hello. As Brittany said, my name is Becky Vanderlinden, and I'm the director of our capstone facilities, where we host on-site simulations with students on field trip experiences. So I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about the JA Finance Park curriculum. This is a financial literacy heavy program that's going to help these students walk through a personal finance journey with us. So what we know about financial literacy is that that is the ability to understand but also effectively use the financial tools and skills for personal finance. So things like budgeting, investing, management of their money. And when you're financially literate, you have the essential foundation that you need for a smart relationship with money. So we know this is your goal in the classroom, to be instilling these ideas about earning, saving and investing, protecting, spending and borrowing. And here at Junior Achievement, we're here to help support that. So you can go ahead and advance to that next slide. So our Finance Park curriculum has 5 units that you would go over with the students. Income, saving, investing, and risk management, debit and credit, budgeting, and then it ends in a culmination experience for simulation that can be done both on-site at one of our capstone facilities or right in your own classrooms. So while our middle school programs are developed, like Brittany said, with an emphasis on financial literacy, work readiness, and entrepreneurship, I like to point out that they also provide really strong secondary emphasis on things like math and reading and writing. And they're very closely aligned with the Common Core state standards that the teachers need and are covering anyway. So in our program here, we start by helping the kids plan their future. They're going to learn about income being a primary factor there in choosing their careers and learning about things like career clusters. We teach them about taxes and income. And then we walk them through what it's like to save and invest that money, as well as managing their risks. We're going to teach them about different banking partners with the credit and debit, learning of the differences there. What's the difference between a bank and a credit union and an investment firm? And then we'll walk them through that budgeting process, how to understand putting together a budget, thinking about their needs versus their wants, planning their spending before they go out and spend that money. And then, of course, it all culminates in a simulation, which the only way to provide you with the best explanation of what this experiential learning looks like is to show you a video. This is from one of our partners in the Vegas area, but this is a little bit about what Finance Park looks like for our students.
As a teen, I have a lot on my mind.
But what's going through my head isn't how I'm going to pay this month's water bill.
Make the house payment, budget for my groceries and childcare.
Or how much I should put away for retirement.
That's why Junior Achievement created Finance Park.
To teach important money and credit management skills.
By giving students like me a taste of life in the real world.
The one that's full of jobs, insurance, bills,
mortgages, and tough decisions on how to spend money.
In Finance Park, we get to experience real-world financial situations in a virtual community setting.
And we see how the decisions we make on money can have a big impact on our life.
How does Finance Park work?
We're each given a unique life situation,
an age, income, marital status, kids, and a job.
And we have to learn how to spend our money on necessities like bills, groceries, and some fun extras.
All while making sure our accounts are balanced at the end of the program.
I am 30 years old. I am single. I have one child. My gross annual income is $36,250. I'm a manufacturer's representative.
My name's Kaylee. I'm a curriculum developer.
To be comfortable, I would need at least $70,000 because $36,000 is not even enough.
With the help of Finance Park's volunteer mentors,
we learn about incomes, budgeting, saving, investing,
how to balance a checkbook, how to use credit,
and why exactly we have insurance.
But the most important thing, we see how far our dollars can actually go.
I think after doing Junior Achievement Finance Park, they get to learn, if nothing else, maybe a little bit more respect for their parents and what they have to deal with. And the fact that it's not easy when you grow up. There is a lot of responsibility that comes with all of that freedom. And most of it's financial.
I think the hands-on experience is very unique to what we do here. We do a lot of other in-classroom programming, but this particular one is very hands-on and interactive with a little bit older age group of kids, and I think the message resonates.
So the beautiful thing about Finance Park is it makes people think about all aspects, not just what's in front of them. I think too much today in society, kids and all of us are just what's in the moment without thinking bigger and thinking longer. I think you see the light go off in the kids because they're like, oh, I didn't think about that, or just all the different components. And even as adults, that cumulative impact of all the decisions in life and the financial impact, not just the one thing in front of them.
Learning these money management skills sooner rather than later
could be the difference between those of us who thrive as adults
and become productive citizens that can contribute to our community,
and others who struggle to keep their heads above water.
It's a treat, to learn to prepare and to be appreciative of your parents because it's kind of stressful.
It's actually really, really fun. I came in here thinking this would be a boring old class with lectures. It was just really professional.
Finance Park inspires students to be smart with their money,
how to get ready for the workforce,
and most importantly, how to aspire to greater things.
Junior Achievement wants to bring these much needed financial lessons
to as many students as possible here in Las Vegas.
And to do that, we need your help to make Finance Park available all year long.
To serve the thousands of students here in the Valley that need these skills.
Students just like me.
Students just like me.
Students just like me.
Finance Park from Junior Achievement.
So bringing us back to kind of what we talked about in the beginning, students who do develop this understanding. So in the classroom, it's our responsibility to provide the knowledge in financial literacy and the tools that are out there, but it's also our responsibility to give them some experience trying that. They've got to get their hands in it and look at adjusting that money and making sure that things work so that they have more experience before they have to do it on their own in their real lives. So Finance Park is really flexible, which is another really great option for this program. It works really great in CCA classes. It's got a huge career and readiness component in addition to the financial literacy, and it can be taught a couple of different ways. So the curriculum comprises of 12 teacher-led lessons in those 4 different areas that we talked about: the income, savings, debit and credit, and then budgeting. They're all between maybe 30, 45 minutes of instruction, and then they all have really great extension activities, things like applying for a FAFSA and different things like that that you can work through. So we have one option, which is our traditional lesson format. This one is taught in the classroom, and it does require workbooks, as well as we provide digital slides. So this is one where the teacher's going to be taking the students through the curriculum. They've got workbooks to complete assignments as they go. You can go ahead and flip to the next one. The second option is a self-guided curriculum. So during those COVID times, Junior Achievement had to pivot what we were doing coming into the classroom and teaching these things and making them available online, which is a lot of how our students are learning now. So we do offer a self-guided curriculum as well. It gives them a little bit more independent learning options compared to the traditional classroom curriculum. What's great about this is it can be accomplished whether the students are remote or face-to-face or in a hybrid situation. So I know some of our kids and different schools offer those options. We can be really flexible with that too. On the next slide, it'll show you a little bit about what that looks like. So the student's going to log into their platform with their login, and they can go right through Unit 1, Unit 2, and it's going to keep track of how far they've gone in each section. So it's very clear and concise. All of the assignments are here. They can be printed, saved as a PDF, uploaded back into the teacher for making sure that they're doing the work. Go ahead and you can go on to that next slide. So right now, for that 5th unit, which is the simulation, so they're going to be learning in the classroom, then they come and you've got 2 options for how to do a simulation. The first option is our Woodbury JA City in Orem, Utah. So schools that are 90th South and South would go to our Orem facility, and they have dates available on their calendar for live field trips simulations. So you would get some buses. We could have about 100 to 120 students per day for a simulation environment. And this is where they're going to come on site. They're going to be given a tablet. They're assigned a life scenario. They find out, am I married? Am I single? Do I have kids? What's my job? Did I go to college? What's my credit score? And then we're going to take them around JA City, which is a 10,000 square foot mini city. And they're going to learn about different categories on that budget. So they might visit Larry H. Miller Megaplex theaters to learn about entertainment on your budget. You might visit one of our banks to learn about investing, or the real estate shop to learn about applying for a mortgage. So we're going to take them through about 25 different categories on a budget, and then we're going to ask them to make a 1-month working budget for their simulated families. So they've got to go through and find out how to make their money last. If they're married, they've got to make sure they have transportation for both them and their spouse. If they have children, they're going to have to account for some childcare. So it gives them that real world experience of seeing where the rubber meets the road and like, oh, I had no idea that you had to pay for water, or these certain things that insurance was maybe required and not just optional. So we get a lot of great comments from our students that learn concepts, that they've never seen before. Big aha moments happening when they actually get there to go through the simulation. Now, if traveling or you're on the north end of the valley isn't an option for you, we can do this simulation right in your classroom. We build it on our end and give you logins, and your students log in right from the classroom and go through those same modules. They find out what their scenario is. They're asked to go through savings and investing and then learning about different budget categories. So all of our programs can be very flexible and tailored right to what your classrooms need. Now I'm going to pass it over to Emily Watkins, who is our in-class program director, and she's going to go over another platform that we have called JA Connect. Oh yeah. Nope, let's go ahead. I forgot I was even wearing it.
Thanks, Becky. Okay, excellent. I'm going to touch on another educational resource that we have available, and this is our JA Connect learning platform. So this is a really flexible option that you can use in your classroom. It's on demand, so it's just available anytime. And go ahead and go to the next slide. I know it's always more helpful to see. So this is what the platform will look like. There are a lot of different options and categories. It'll scroll through some of the lessons. These are really meant to be just bite-sized, anywhere from 5 to 15-minute lessons. They could be completed as an entire classroom, individually. So a lot of flexibility there, and very engaging. They'll have videos, they will have some activities to help with specific topics. So let's look at one of the specific topics. This is going to be whether to purchase a home or rent. So on our next slide, it'll just kind of walk through. I think we'll mute the
in this
sound,
activity, you will identify some of the benefits and drawbacks.
So in this activity, students would decide, am I better off renting or buying? And they will begin by filling out a survey and talking a little bit about their situation. Do they have a down payment saved? Do they move a lot? Are their needs for housing going to change? Will they need more space, less space? So they will begin by filling out the survey, and then the program will make a recommendation to them and outline why it suggested that they, in this scenario, rent over buy, over purchasing. And then it will also tell them, the opposite. It would make more sense to purchase if you had a large down payment selected. You plan to stay in one area for an extended length of time. Maybe you need a consistent amount of space. And so it will help them understand the different life situations on where it would make more sense to rent versus buy. And they have a similar module for cars. So leasing versus purchasing. We want them to get this experience so that when they're faced with those decisions, they have some background and a foundation on it. Let's go ahead to the next slide. It's going to repeat. There we go. Okay, we know for our teachers that correlations are important and that they feel a lot of pressure to, of course, meet and go beyond the standards. And so all of our programs, this big, thick file that I have with me, are the correlations for middle and high school programs. So JA has done a great job of outlining and telling them very specifically which curriculums align well with English language art requirements, mathematics, social studies. Of course, there's going to be overlap on all of these curriculums, but that'll really help them to pinpoint what curriculum would be most useful to reinforce the topics that they are discussing and what they are trying to meet with their curriculum. And we have a lot of different options. Today we're highlighting, of course, our financial literacy programs, but we have a ton in work readiness, and then also entrepreneurship that are very supportive to what they are learning in the classroom. And again, they pair very beautifully with CCA. So I know that both of you had experience with junior achievement. The next video that we're going to watch is going to tell a little background on junior achievement, and then it will touch on our alumni survey report, which is really powerful. I feel like junior achievement as an organization, we have the scope and experience to really bring meaningful programs to our schools. And in the state of Utah, we're able to interact with so many students and just make that connection from the classroom to the real world outside of it. And so let's watch the video.
Junior Achievement is one of the nation's leading educational partners. Each year, JA works with more than 14,000 schools to deliver lessons in financial literacy, work, and career readiness, and entrepreneurship to more than 3.3 million K-12 students. JA does this in collaboration with school districts, individual schools, and educators. These learning experiences are delivered by volunteers from the community with the support of businesses, foundations, and partner organizations. Junior Achievement began in 1919 as an after-school program and started working in schools in the mid-1970s. JA's programs align with state and national education standards. Each year, JA's curriculum team correlates JA's programs with each state's set of standards. JA learning experiences are developed along financial literacy, work and career readiness, and entrepreneurship pathways, with age-appropriate lessons building on each other year over year. In addition, JA prepares volunteers for the classroom experience through an orientation process prior to engaging with students. The benefits of JA for educators are access to enriched learning experiences that help reinforce the connection between what students learn in school and life outside the classroom. JA also works to make these learning experiences as turnkey as possible for educators and schools. The benefits of JA's learning experiences are highlighted by studies conducted by research firm Ipsos. According to this research, JA alumni report that they are more likely to complete high school and obtain a college degree and even an advanced degree. On the financial literacy front, 90% of JA alumni say they are confident managing money. They also report purchasing their first home, saving for retirement, and paying off student loan debt earlier than the general population. They report higher levels of career satisfaction, and a higher percentage of JA alumni who graduated college work in their field of study than the general population. JA alumni, especially Black, Latino, Hispanic, and female alumni, are more likely to report starting or owning a business. Junior Achievement is in your community and ready to work with you. To find out more, connect with us through our website.
Excellent. Okay, so we are so grateful for our business partners. In our elementary schools, often our volunteers are parent. They come through the PTA, which is awesome. For our middle and high school programs, we really try to bring in professional business partners that are experts in these areas. That could be a parent, of course, but we do rely heavily on our business partners to help us with the curriculum and the lessons. As Becky mentioned, with our Finance Park program, it correlates beautifully with the state requirements. And so they're going to cover all of these important topics on budgeting, financial planning, making real world applications so that students are ready to go when they face those situations for real. And they'll be better prepared, and they will also realize that despite their best efforts, some things are just beyond our control. And so they're able to do that in a safe simulation situation to prepare themselves. And then of course, we're wanting to be a lift to our teachers and help reinforce and provide meaningful curriculums for them to meet their state standards. Okay, so we've talked a lot, and I know that this can be really overwhelming for teachers. I think the message that we really want the schools to take away is we have turnkey options that are available to them. We have awesome business partners that are available to reinforce these concepts. So often a teacher will say, this is really my area of expertise. This is a little out of my comfort zone. And so we want to help fill those gaps, especially for important topics like financial literacy. But they are always curious, and I know they feel such a pressure on the state standards. So they are outlined in a lot of detail. It's so thick we didn't print it, but here's a QR code. It would take them directly to our high school correlations, middle school, the capstone program that Becky touched on, so that they can really pinpoint, even down to the lesson, what makes most sense to reinforce whatever they are working on in the classroom. And we have a lot of different options, a lot more than what we have discussed here today. But we hope to be a resource and a help and a lift. We're always so impressed when we go into the schools at the amazing work they're doing, and we're just here to support those efforts.